Out back at the cabin, we have that piece of plywood hanging off the wall that we've been using for a kitchen. There's just no room on it, so the time you get a Coleman stove on it, there's absolutely no space left. We had an old goat pen behind the shop that we're not using anymore, so I took some of the 4x4 posts, some 1-inch crossers, and put them in the shop, let them dry out for a week or so. All the boards had mold and mildew building up on them, so we sent them through the planer just to clean them up a little bit. Now that all the planing is done and my free labor bailed on me, once it was time to clean up, I took all the shavings over to the chicken coop for bedding. Now I decided to build all the cabinet doors here at the shop, just considering I had all the tools here instead of hauling everything out back. Now when I built this cabin, I had no intention of the kitchen being in this corner, so the window height really didn't matter to me, so I had to remove the bottom trim and cut up the sides a little bit for the height to fit. Now I know it's pretty noticeable that that window's sideways, but that was just my fault for mismeasuring stuff before I brought it out. I do have plans to fix that. Using the exact measurements that I wanted this kitchen to be, I started framing something off the wall to give me a good base to build off of. So this kitchen's going to be about 7 feet wide, it's 23 inches deep, and we got it at 36 inches tall, which is a lot bigger than the piece of plywood we have hanging off the wall. It's only 18 inches deep and 36 inches wide. Once the back frame was attached, I wanted to start on the two outer front posts. After measuring and marking the depth that I want my cabinet to be, I drew a plumb line where I want my first 4x4 post to go on the wall. One of the best benefits for having a log cabin like this is you can just drive a nail or a screw wherever you want. You don't have to find studs or anything. Now that my 4x4 posts are where I want them, I got to attach them with these two pieces, one for the top and one for the bottom. They're cut at 7 feet long. Now that the two front posts are attached where I want them, I cut 6 pieces all the same size to attach the front to the back. Now that I have everything attached, I can start marking out where I want the rest of my 4x4 post to go. I really had to make sure my measurements in the right spot here when I put the posts in, because I already had the cupboard doors made and I had to make sure that they fit properly. I added these 1-inch boards on the back as braces so I can add my cross supports for my shelving. Then I did a measurement and added a level line across so I know where my shelf supports are going to go. Once all my supports were in, I measured for a piece of plywood that I'm going to use for the shelving. Luckily I had a dirty old piece underneath the cabin. And after realizing I had no way to get a sheet of plywood in there, I had to remove some of the supports that I put at the top. The main part of the kitchen framing is done, so now I can start test fitting all the cupboard doors. I cut a few extra pieces of 1-inch boards that I can put on as trim, so I don't have to have the cupboard doors exactly perfect. Before I could do anything though, I had to give somebody here some attention so I could actually get something done. You can see those trim pieces I was talking about on each side of the post where the hinges are all going to mount to. You can tell the lighting in the cabin is just garbage. I'm hoping to get something set up here very soon. Now that I was wrapping up this, I was able to start the countertop that evening. I decided to go with a concrete countertop. I've never built one before and I've always wanted to. I let it sit for about 48 hours, and then I grabbed a block and a piece of 120 grit sandpaper and gave it a sand. I gave it about another 24 hours to dry before I put it on the trailer to bring it out back to the cabin. It was a very slow four-wheeler ride out back. But I did manage to get it out there in one piece. I was able to convince my brother to give me a hand that evening, and that thing is definitely as heavy as it looks. This part made me really nervous, trying to carry it inside with no forms or plywood underneath it.
Yeah, and I gotta cut that trim still. Yeah, I might not get rid of that nail. That's cool.
This is a plan I have to fix that window. Put a couple vertical strips on it so the window doesn't look sideways. To wrap up this kitchen, I just wanted to hang a couple shelves. I didn't silicone the sink down yet until I was able to put a seal coat on top of the countertop. This old piece of plywood definitely served its purpose, but we were definitely due for an upgrade. And we're really excited for how it turned out.